Hello again. This is going to be my second cast reflection over the senior trip. And this will kind of cover the second and last day of Paris and the beginning of Provence, the southern region of France. So, the second day was a lot better than the first one, I will admit. I mean, the first day was fantastic, getting to see all of like the amazing architecture, all of the monuments and all the paintings that are held in the Louvre. But the second one was a little bit more manageable simply because everybody had gotten like a full 8 hours sleep. At least some of us did. Um, and we got to go on a full panoramic tour. Now, the thing about panoramic tours is that you do a lot of walking, but there's also a lot of bus riding. And I'm sad to say, but I kind of fell asleep for a fair bit of it because I was still pretty lagged from the plane ride. But what I did see was something to behold. It was so interesting seeing how French traffic worked from the bus's angle, because the bus is so much more massive than the rest of the cars that are going around in the large roundabout by the l'Arc de Triomphe. So there are people just weaving in and out, just going crazy, cars honking constantly. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. There were no lanes either. So I got to learn a little bit about just like how the French culture works and how people travel. There were a lot of bicycles on the road, like not motorcycles, but just like bicycles going everywhere. Like they didn't mean, like it doesn't mean anything. It's just like a common thing in Paris. So after a bit of traveling, after a little bit of touring with our tour guide, we got to go out and we got to explore a little bit. We went out to lunch in groups. We got to go shopping. I got a really, really nice jacket, which I will show in a moment. Actually, it's in my closet. So, let's see, where is it? Here it is. So, this is like a real leather jacket that I found for 60 euros in a little vintage shop. Or actually, I didn't find it. A friend of mine found it, and it was too big for him, so he gave it to me instead. But yeah, it's really nice. Take off the goofy glasses. I could be a real biker. Maybe a biker's mom. I don't know. But that whole day was it was a lot of exploration. It was a lot of fun. We all each got to go out on our own and take in a little bit of what it would be like to live in central France. Or Paris, sorry. To live in central Paris. Man. We got to see where they had the execution grounds during the French Revolution, where they had the guillotine and all that. And they had a monument dedicated to King Louis, who was one of the first aristocrats to be killed by guillotine during the Revolution. So that was pretty interesting too. It was also really interesting, seeing how people made a living, in Paris, selling, touristy items, because there were so many shops selling souvenirs and selling the same exact things as the other ones. There are, few hard sells or a few people that were really trying to get us to buy little trinkets and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool getting to try to blend in with the crowd and not appear, American, which is kind of hard to do if you're, walking around in a large group and you got a little tour guide holding up an Explorica flag. But it was a good time. The second day, I feel like, was a lot more investigative than the first one was, simply because we actually got to go off on our own. We got to see a lot more stuff that we didn't get to in the first day. I mainly really liked the second day in Paris because I wanted to go get myself something nice, and I also wanted to see what Parisian culture is like in terms of fashion and what it means to them, and to have nice things and have nice clothes. We also got to eat a lot more on the second day, which I'm a big fan of. I love my food, and it was all so fantastic. It was some of the best food that I ever had. I had this really good Moroccan dish for lunch. It was just like turkey and paprika. It was kind of rustic, but it was something else. So the whole day was just a lot of like exploring, a lot of being in little groups and getting to go to shops and talk to people in French, which was the big thing for me. Sorry, that was the big thing for me. Just getting to talk to shop owners and communicate in French and all that. Again, lots of walking. And the last reflection, I'll let you know how much I actually walked over the whole trip because a friend of mine recorded how much we did. Okay, I'll get to this in the next reflection because I talked way too much. So yeah, this will be like a special mid reflection. Okay, see you in the next one.